Hi, Brinda.
Hi, mom.
We'll wait for Lalita, madam.
Yeah, sure. Hi, mom.
Hi, welcome.
Hi.
We see people joining, so we'll wait for 2 minutes
Yeah,
as
we
I
should.
see the number going up.
Hmm. How many have joined in, Minu?
20.
It's increasing. Now it's 27.
So they'll be able to hear what we are talking now.
We've got a good response today. Very good number.
What's the number?
It's increasing. As people are logging in, the number keeps going up. So it's 4:30. Can we start?
Yes.
We should. We should.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm Brunda, working as host for today's webinar.
Brinda, can you be a little louder? Because I think
Yes.
increase the volume of it. Yeah. You can start.
Yes. Good evening. So I'm Brunda, working as host for today's webinar, and I welcome you all to today's webinar. That is. Also, thank you, registrants, for such an overwhelming response to the webinar. Yes, adolescents and children may appear to be less at risk for severe COVID-19 symptoms, but the pandemic has significantly disrupted their lives in other ways. Social distancing and the interruption of typical college and school routines can be especially difficult for them. So having teenagers confined to home during the coronavirus crisis may not be as labor intensive as being holed up with small children, but it definitely has its own challenges. While younger children may be thrilled at the prospect of having parental attention 24/7, adolescents are likely to feel differently. So how can parents and especially teens cope in these difficult times? Today we'll get these answers from the two experienced speakers. Let me introduce them to all. First one is Dr. Lalita Anand, who is a senior researcher at ISB and managing trustee of Teenage Foundation. Dr. Lalita Anand did her PhD from IIT Madras in finance. Currently, she works in ISB as a senior researcher. She has over 16 plus years of experience in teaching and academic research and another 5 years of corporate experience with exposure to various industries like ITES, financial services, government projects, and education. She is the founder and managing trustee of Teenage Foundation and has been championing teen issues for over a decade now. Welcome Lalita Anand to the webinar.
Thank you, Brinda.
Yes. And the other speaker is today Ms. Meena Fonseca. She is an ICC certified executive and team coach. Meena's experience includes working with leadership to implement strategies for effecting change management and helping people to adapt to change and transforming the thought process. As a certified NLP master practitioner, she uses her NLP tools and concepts in her coaching and training sessions. Welcome Meena Fonseca to the webinar.
Thank you so much, Brinda, for such a lovely introduction.
So before we begin, I like to draw your attention to few logistics and housekeeping guidelines to give the best possible experience to all the participants. The first one is your audio will be in muted condition and video will be turned off to avoid any background noise and to optimize bandwidth. So second one is the chat box is open to all. Please chat by selecting the option of all panelists and attendees so that it is visible to other attendees as well. In case if you want to ask a question, please you can type in the chat box or you can type in the question and answer tab or you can raise your hand. So panelists are committed to answer as many questions as possible and will pause in between to look at the chat a few times. We'll unmute you to enable you to speak. And we request you please post what is appropriate for the topic and keep in mind the respect for our fellow attendees. Yes.
So thank you, Brinda, and welcome to all. Teenage Foundation has championed teenage issues for a decade now. And this pandemic is a challenge not just for teenagers, but for parents and for everybody. So this webinar is, to strengthen our resolve to face this challenge. This webinar is also to understand the truth behind this crisis and how teenagers and parents think differently. Finally, we will chalk out a plan to move forward. Meena Fonseca, who is a life coach and has been extensively working with teenagers and parents, is on board, and I'm so glad she's here.
Thank you, Lalita. I think some of the people are messaging that the audio is not very clear. So, Brinda and Lalita, can you just increase the audio?
Yes.
Okay, done.
Yes.
Done. So now I request participants to write their names, where they are from, and what excites them to be here. I request Brinda to kindly unmute the participants. We'll hear them.
Yes, we see here Lakshmi Kumari Reddy raises her hand, so I'm allowing her to talk. Yes, Lakshmi Kumari.
Lakshmi Kumari.
Yes. Ma'am, can you unmute yourself? Okay, we see Ajay Goyal raising his hand, so I'll unmute.
Yeah. Hi, Ajay.
Mr. Ajay, can you unmute yourself?
Acha, Sairam is saying he's facing some issue. What is this? Is it audio issues?
Increase the volume is what we are getting the message as. We are
okay,
on
audio
high
is
volume.
perfect.
Oh,
Audio is perfect.
Good. Okay, great. So can we hear Ajay?
Mr. Ajay, can you unmute yourself? Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we are.
We can hear you now. Tell me. Yeah.
Yeah, this is something, which I was really looking forward to. I am from Mumbai, and though I don't have a teenage kids, but my granddaughter is getting into teenage, and I keep hearing from her parents, what are the challenges they are going through, more so because she is now confined to home. So I really look forward to hearing you, Dr. Lalita and Meena. Thank you so much.
So glad. Yeah, so glad.
Thank you. Welcome, Ajay. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome, Ajay. Yeah. Brinda, is someone else willing to speak?
No, ma'am. I think we can proceed.
Okay, so we have a lot of messages from people, and there are some messages that they're saying that I hope we get to take away few learnings from the webinar. So yes, Lalita, we do have few takeaways which I'm sure will be helpful.
Yeah.
All right. Any Q&As are there, Brinda?
No, not yet.
All right.
All
So
right.
let's go ahead.
I think Brinda will take a poll question now.
Okay. Yes, I just launched it.
So we would like to know what exactly, what is the most difficult thing you had to deal with during this lockdown. So we've given you 4 options. Please select. It will be on for 20 seconds. So do we have the result, Brinda?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we have this the most what
Lack of
people, yes, lack of structure is what we've got the highest mark for the lack of
49%.
structure, yes, and second is lack of freedom, yes, and then third is missing friends, and fourth is managing anger and frustration. So
Excellent
yes,
results.
so this is so apt, and we are covering all these points to some extent. So I'm sure everyone has gets some, there is some takeaway from these this webinar. All right, so
So
we'll go ahead.
yeah, Meena, as a preparation for this webinar, we conducted a survey, and the question which came up, most prominently was a lot of teenagers admitted to being very frustrated because they were locked down. So tell us all that how do parents deal with these tantrums and frustrations?
Yes, Lalita, that's so true. See, this pandemic or this lockdown has been really difficult for adults, because a lot of structures have changed, working structure, working from home. It has, changed everyone's life, but there is a greater impact on the teenagers. Teenage
Really?
years, yes, teenage years are when people, like their independence. They like to spend time with the friends, and they like to go out, eat out and have good fun. And suddenly all this is just not happening. So it's a greater thing to them impact, because as adults we express very easily, but teenagers and children cannot express so well, so and there are different ways of thinking. So there are the thinking pattern is different. Teenagers think in a way, and parents, I'm sure Lalita, how teenagers think and what would be teenagers thinking right now, and I'll
Suppose they
exactly tell you what parents would think in that situation.
suppose it is about gaming, so they might be thinking that coronavirus has given me loads of free time, and the only thing I feel like doing is video games.
Oh, and I'll tell you what parents think is, can't they do something creative?
I know. And suppose it is something to do with household chores, so possibly teenagers are thinking it's not my mess. I have never tidied up and done all these work because a cleaner comes up every day. Anyways, it's a grown-up's
Yeah.
job.
And teenagers would think, haven't I got enough to do? I never asked them to lift one finger before.
I know. And they mostly complain, usually teenagers will complain about boredom. They might
Yeah.
be thinking, I'm so bored, usually I'm busy with school or after school activities. Now I have nothing scheduled. So, what do parents think when they feel like,
Yeah,
saying I'm bored?
and yes, we would think, shouldn't they be making the most of this time, do something constructive to do? Very favorite word of parents, do something constructive. So you saw how the thinking pattern differs. Teenagers have
Yeah.
a different thought process, parents have a different thought process. So
Yeah.
lockdown, and lockdown is not as bad as it is for some teenagers, because they are away from the intense academic pressure. But how long will they be happy with that? Finally they would want to go out. So remember that teens are always using parents as a sounding board. They will ask you answers. Sometimes they
Yeah.
come over and say, how do I do this, how do I handle this? But
Yeah.
they'll moan when you give a suggestion. So best is when there are questions asked, the best way to handle is have a brainstorming session. Let them talk, and parents should talk less, and listen to what they are saying more. So brainstorming always helps. And adolescent age, it's all about letting them make their choices. Keep the
True.
conversation short and clear. Don't go into lecturing. And once you show them your way, then you let them choose their way. So when a teenager is asked to make a choice between things, then they are more responsible. They feel
Yeah.
more connected to the task. So
Correct.
I have few things what we all can try to make things better in this lockdown is one of the most important thing is, you know, writing down things that they would like to do, or writing down things that you all love to do together. You know, one of the ways to handle, and then get them to write down as many ideas they can, you know, and treat them like partners and not like parent and kid. So each time they say I'm bored, send them back to the list and ask them to select, you know, what is it that you would want to do. And then when they're ready with their answers is what they want to do. As a parent, don't be too critical or judgmental. You know,
Okay.
we trust them to know when they are bored and to work out when it's time and they find a new activity. So these are the four things what I think are most important right now to take care of. And teenagers are also, you know, they feel that extreme emotional situation when, because adults, as adults, they are now learning building connections,
Yeah.
areas of the brain that govern the emotional regulation, you know. And your teen knows if he or she had something horrible to tell a friend, they wouldn't tell them, because then the fear of not the fear of being left out is there. But with parents, they feel very secure, you know, they can just come and say whatever, you know, vent out and talk whatever they want to. So because
Okay.
they know you're always going to be there. So during these situations of arguments or discussions, don't let your don't lose your cool. In fact, if there is a situation like this, just take a back step, let the situation calm down, and then you can come back and have a conversation with the teenager. So I think this
Okay.
is the best way to handle at present.
Very good insights, Meena. Very good.
Yeah. So I was just thinking, Lalita, that there are a lot of people doing these webinars talking about what should be done, parenting tips and everything. But I was
Yeah.
just wondering if teenagers, do they understand why all this is happening? You know, even
Yeah.
parents, do the parents sit with them and discuss why these things are happening? So they need to know the universal truth behind this lockdown,
Absolutely.
behind this pandemic. So what are your thoughts on that, Lalita?
Yeah. Before I take this answer, I would like to tell our audience that in the end of this discussion, we will be taking questions from all of you, because in the chat box, a lot of questions are coming
Yes.
on. So please hang on. We'll get to those in the end. Yeah. So it is very true, Meena, that they should understand why this has happened finally. Why are we here? And why are we locked out here? So on the surface, it looks a virus has attacked humanity, which originated from the wet markets of Wuhan, China. The conspiracy theory states that it has leaked from the Wuhan Institute of Virology in US, and the USA is blaming China, and the blame game goes on. But if you see the larger picture, it is humanity has upset nature. That is what has happened. So some simple statistics will tell you the story. You know, I'll share some numbers with you. In 1920, the world population was 2.2 billion, and today it is 7.8 billion. And wild tigers in 1920 were 1 lakh, and today they are a measly 3,900. Forests covered 6 billion hectares in 1920, and today it is 4 billion hectares. It's come down 33.3%. You know,
Wow.
we produce, you see, we have been damning nature. We produce millions of pounds of trash every day, and we dump it in landfills. You know, 2 million tons of sewage, industrial and agricultural waste each day is thrown into rivers. And freshwater crisis is looming large. Our growing population is destroying wildlife habitat, and 30,000 species is getting extinct each year. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Then overfishing is leading to imbalance in ocean life, and pollution is leading to acid rain, and this is damaging the trees and also making water bodies acidic, including the oceans.
Yes.
And our protective shield, you know, the ozone layer is damaged. It has exposed us to the harmful UVB radiation. The air we breathe is polluted. It is unfit for human existence as recommended by World Health Organization, you know. Arctic glaciers are melting, sea levels are rising, and global warming, climate change. These are all serious threats to our very existence. You know, hunting and trading in wildlife is going on rampantly, and people eat wild and exotic animals live, Meena. And you know, that is how coronavirus has spread, and it has come from bats to humanity. Yes, corona is the result of this violation against nature. That is it. And now, while we are all huddled and shut indoors, the earth has pressed a refresh button. Please know that during this quarantine, rivers are cleaning up, vegetation is growing, air is becoming cleaner, and there is less of pollution. Birds and animals are reclaiming their territory. You know, dolphins have returned to the Mumbai harbor and in Europe, and
Yes.
swans have returned to Venice. Flamingos, migratory birds, have come to Mumbai, and earth for the first time in many years is actually at rest, and hearts are truly transforming. You know, people are healing, and for the first time they're turning, you know, mostly they're turning to the Almighty. So the question is now, when we finally come out of this crisis, will we learn to be more nurturing to nature? This is very vital for our survival. And here I appeal to all the teenagers that you will have to reverse all that has happened, and you must nurture nature. Whatever is in your capacity, you will do to, you know, preserve this nature. You are youngsters, teenagers, and the world belongs to you. Nature belongs to you. The earth belongs to you. You know, so
Yes,
whatever
yes.
you can do in your individual capacity, I think you should do, and every drop makes an ocean. And Meena,
That's
another
really
question.
very good. What statistics you've shared is really good. Though we read everything all the time, but then, you know, when someone is putting it across like that on a tabular format, you know, it's like really striking. While we go ahead,
Thank
Lalita,
you.
there's a very interesting question. Narendra Kaul is saying he's not
Yeah,
asking any question, but he has a very good thought. He says
tell me.
Corona has been a great opportunity to relook at family structures. Earlier, we had no time
Totally
and
agree.
life and
Yeah,
was structured as presumed to be okay, but it missed a lot of things. This is the time to talk to family, to talk take collective responsibility, to talk fears and promises. This is such a good thought. Narendra,
very good
thank you
thought,
so much
Narendra.
for helping. And I totally agree that, yes, this is because we've never gone back and tried to work, you know, spend time, so much time with the family. And now we're realizing how important it is and how much we've missed, you know. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for sharing your thoughts.
In fact, I'm grateful, thankful to all the audience. They're coming up with such lovely messages and thoughts. We'll quickly, you know, take the questions in the end. But
Yes,
there's
sure.
one question for you, Meena. Second most important question in our survey said that, how can we keep a positive mind amidst all gloom? This is what the teenagers are asking.
Yes. So one of the main weapons we have to fight the virus is only social distancing. You know, it's a very deeply unnatural practice for humans, but we are helpless. It's an essential one. So, you know, there are a lot of effects of being in a lockdown. There are a lot of mental health challenges which are just coming up. And because this is something which we have not thought of, or we've never experienced something like this. So I would just give one or two, you know, suggestions as to what can be done to keep the mental health practices, and you can, you know, try all these things and see that it does make a change. So one of the most important, in fact, we also had someone asking us this in the chat, is about have a, you know, a time management. So we know how important routine is, especially for children. You know, children or teenagers, they're used to going to school and having a routine or university routine, going out and meeting friends. So when all this is not happening, there's no structure. So, you know, when you wake up, the whole page is a blank and open page. So what we have to follow is have a routine. This means what is eating on time, uh, at regular intervals, sleeping, walking, exercising. So all these things are going to be very, very important. So unstructured time can actually create boredom, and it kind of sparks anxiety and depression, you know, which can lead to unhealthy patterns of coping. with the social distancing. So another reason is keeping a routine reduces the decision fatigue. Like I said,
True.
you're
True.
overwhelmed and there's so much of exhaustion because you have too many options. So
Yeah.
this is so in the morning when you wake up, rather than wondering, oh, where should I start, or your children asking you, where do we start? Every day you can't have the conversation. So it's better to make a schedule that everyone can get on board with it and try to stick to the schedule. So this is having a routine and managing the time by making a schedule for the entire family, with family time separately and the me time separately. So this is going to help a lot. Second
Excellent.
important thing, yeah, like a combined activity parents and children can do together is
Yeah.
decluttering your home.
Yeah.
When do we remember last sitting together and cleaning the entire house? So
Wow.
take the opportunity, take the opportunity of extra time by decluttering, cleaning, and organizing your home rooms. Um, Cleaning can not only offer a sense of control. In
It's a
fact,
very therapeutic. It's very
yes, and in the
therapeutic.
face of this uncertainty, I think it offers a body, mind, and soul a respite from the traumatic stress. So
Wow.
it's a good idea, and also children can learn. So when you are decluttering, is throwing away, not exactly throwing away, but there are so many toys, so many good books, which probably our kids have grown out of it. So we can actually plan to donate it to some organization or a home or children's school or something like that. So children also learn that social something to do with I should give back something to the society, and think you're pushing the children to think in this direction by teaching them how to declutter. And the most important thing is be think of some service to the society, like my
Absolutely.
own son and his friends, they got together and they developed a online game. So
Wow.
yeah, anybody who wants to play the game has to pay the donation amount, and then they can go and play for the duration. And
Okay.
believe me, this they have collected in 15 days, they have collected almost a lakh.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, and they've donated it to the government for the kitchen and the free food which was given. So
Yeah,
I was really surprised, because when they started doing it, I was wondering how will each one is at a separate place, and how are they going to take up such a big challenge. But it was
very nice.
so,
This is a very nice initiative. Very
yes,
nice.
and then the other day I was reading in the paper that a small girl told her mother that I'm just bored. So her mother asked, "What are you going to do? What is your best thing you can do?" She said, "I love to paint." So the
Oh God.
mother and daughter sat down and painted thank you cards for all the medical health workers. And they were gifted to the hospital. So
Very nice. Yeah.
yeah, such act of service
Great.
we.
Yeah. It's touching. It's in fact very touching.
Yes, and most important, last thing that I would suggest is practice gratitude. That's the
Yes.
central tenet of most of the religions and philosophies around the world. So, though it might be challenging right now, write down some of the important things that you are grateful for. So when the teenagers see that my parents are writing this down, and actually they're writing down what they're thankful for. I'm thankful for the house. I'm thankful that my job is still there with me. So, it's a very big thing for them to see adults do this. So, looking at them, they will also start trying to put on paper what they are thankful for, and it matters a lot to practice gratitude right from this time.
Yeah.
So these are a few of the
Very,
things I think I could think of.
these are great insights, Meena, and I'd like to
Thank you.
add a few to these points. We human beings are a bundle of energy, and
Totally agree.
teenagers, yeah, teenagers are, they have more energy. Their energy levels are so high, and if they are staying indoors and locked down, I can imagine, it's a time bomb, it's a ticking bomb. So this energy has to be released, and nothing like exercising. Exercising, that is home workouts now, is the best solution, and meditation. So you can do anything. They can go for online Zumba class, dance class, yoga class. There's so many options on YouTube. Whatever they like, they can put on some music, and not just 1 hour, it's 2 hours. They should get totally tired, they should sweat it out, and those happy hormones should come out. And I'm telling you, they'll feel on top of the world. This is one of the things to do to feel happy. The next thing is, meditation. In all our sessions with teenagers, we do meditation and breathing techniques. Generally, people think it's something for the older people to do, or someone who's, outside the society who does, but that's not true. I'm sure in your corporate sessions, you also, conduct meditation, Meena.
Yes.
Isn't it? So we do it all the time. Yeah. So meditation is nothing but relaxing the mind and the body for a few minutes. If you're quiet, and that silence, totally rejuvenates you. So even for that, we discovered a lot of guided meditations on YouTube, and every evening at 7 o'clock, my family sits together and we meditate.
Oh wow, that's really good, because in fact we have someone asking how it's Tarusi Jain, who says, how can we include religious and spiritual practices amongst teenagers? So I think Lalita has answered it already.
No, but I'll still say it is an effort, because they are in another generation and there is a distance. There is they are not introduced to it. There's a lot of effort which goes in from the parents, and we'll definitely take this up if we find time. But I'll proceed with one small example. We have a teenage, our volunteer. She lives in Secunderabad and works in Madhapur, and daily travels 2 hours, works for 6 hours, 8 hours, goes back. I mean, she's working like 12 to 14 hours a day, and she put on weight because last 3 years she's unable to exercise. And in this lockdown, she sincerely started exercising 2 hours a day, then managing her diet, hydration, and exercise meditation. She has lost 4 kgs, Meenu.
Wow.
Yeah. So this
that's,
is a.
That's
very happy.
Really
She's very happy.
Goal, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So not only teenagers, parents, adults, nourish yourself. This is a period of nourishing, because nature is nourishing itself.
Totally
So, proper sleep, proper hydration, proper nutrition is the key, to nourish ourselves. And one last suggestion is do something creative, creative stuff. Apart from your online classes, apart from your household chores, do something creative, something which you always wanted to do, like music, like dance, like painting, like sketching, like photography. I don't know. It gives you happiness. Do it, because if you do this, you'll feel self-esteem goes up, appreciation comes your way, you feel happy. This is an instant, happiness pill. Doing creative. And my son has been taking his camera out, which was in the Almirah for a lot of time. He's been clicking, going up the terrace and clicking the sky. He's been clicking birds, flowers.
Wow. So he must have found the camera while decluttering his room.
He's so happy doing that, and he's improving every day also. And another neighbor, there's a girl, she's sketching, she's going on sketching and putting it on Instagram, my neighbor, and she shows it to me. And such beautiful sketches, Meenu. I mean, what talent is hidden in people, I'm so glad that, they are doing such things. And
yes. So I also have a lot of parents asking us questions as to how do we, especially kids are losing focus on the studies and not serious about it. And Narendra again has said that, these tantrums of adolescent kids. So yes, we do have answers for this. And at the end of the webinar, we will take up few questions from the parents. So
yeah, Meenu, in our survey also they said excessive digitization, late nights, lack of structure, and they are very restless and unable to concentrate. So you must, come out. I mean, tell us what it is. What should they do?
Yes. So, despite having the physical appearance of young adults, teenagers have brains more. We need to understand this structure of their brain a bit, little bit of neuroscience, I guess, but more, they have a brain structure more similar to the younger children, you know, meaning they are more disorganized and very, very easily distracted than the older people, you know. But it's not the fault of the teenagers that they can't concentrate and are easily distracted. It's to do with the brain structure. And adolescents simply don't have the same mental capacity as we adults have. You know, the brain does not become fully developed until you'll be surprised to know this, and this is published in the Journal of Neuroscience, that it is not fully developed until late 20s or early 30s.
Oh,
You know,
really?
yes, this is
Wow.
you know, something picked up from the latest research. So as a developmental period, early adolescence is marked by deep need to connect. They want to connect, they want to feel that they belong somewhere, and they want to have fun. There has to be a purpose in life. So, you know, things have changed so drastically. Now parents need to think creatively, and you know, plan the boundaries also. This is something which all the responsible parents have to do. Is now the old rules of handling teenagers will not work, so you have to be more creative and, you know, set the boundaries, and at the same time. So this is something very important. We all should understand that old rules don't apply now. So so when they have so much time, what gets, the question parents always ask is what gets them addicted to these games and mobile phones. So, you know, mobile phones stimulate the reward center of the brain, which is why children get drawn into it. So, you know, parents are actually having tough time keeping their devices away, keeping the internet away. Okay, so it's not because of easy access, but it's also to do with what adults are doing. What do we do today? If there is some information we need or some entertainment we need, it's always our phone. You know, we just go and grab a phone. So how are we expecting children to not do the same? So, you know, it's a
Yeah.
thought, it's a point to ponder upon. As adults, walk the talk is important. So if you're saying don't use this, have a structure, we need to show them that we are following the same things.
Very
So
correct.
in fact, there is an internet de-addiction center called Anandvana somewhere in Maharashtra. I'm not sure. I was reading about their write-up about them, and they said only in the month of April they received almost 2,500 calls from parents asking how do we handle kids who are
Oh, wow.
addicted to internet. Yes, and out
This
of
is a big,
out of that 1,200 calls were only about asking how to keep a track of their chats, and kids are
activity.
maintaining secrecy. And in fact,
Yeah.
one complaint was that their son has locked himself up for 18 hours in a room just to be on social media and not
Oh
get
my
disturbed.
God.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So
And the
how do we how do I
in the
handle my
papers you
child?
must have read, Meenu, there was a guy, when the parents snatched away his phone, he has committed suicide. He jumped out of the balcony.
Yes. So
These are these are bad incidents.
yeah, so teenagers do look for connections and appreciation, so which they may not find in the real world. And the child grows older, we tend to subject them to criticism, comparison, or competition all the time, you know. And the virtual world is an easy escape for them.
Yeah.
So loneliness or absence of anyone to talk is also one of the factors that contributes to this addiction. You know, going absolutely free without internet or screen free is not possible in today's world. So let's all
Yeah.
accept that,
Agreed.
and we are not going to have that. So yes, what we can do is reduce the child's exposure to screen by having a schedule. Continuously looking into the screen is something we should avoid. So
Correct.
give them a timetable that this time you can just, and the breaks are important. Give them internet time, game time, give them watching movie time, and then give breaks with something non-screen also. So we have to gradually do it, and it's not going to be like an immediate thing. So draw them into you need to gradually draw them out of this shell by talking to them and make them feel very secure and confident. So I think conversing with them, communicating with them, and listening to them more than giving advice is what we all need to learn. So I'm including the word all because I'm including you and me.
Yeah, great, great insights. Yeah, good
Yes.
points.
Yes. So while we're talking about all this, Lalita, I was just curious. I see my sons all shifting to online classes. In fact, even my son is doing his medicine first year, and even his classes are online. So I was like really surprised that how kids are changing the way they used to study or attending classes. So everything is becoming online. So what is your opinion about these online classes of the universities and the
Schools.
schools?
See, in my survey, a lot of teens have complained about online classes and they are saying that it is stressful and ineffective. And I totally agree. I agree that in a regular class, you have the luxury of a teacher in front of you. She takes the burden of teaching you or ensuring that you learn. So she, she teaches you, she does your repeat classes, she makes sure you understand the concepts, then they give you tests and revisions. But in an online class, it is only this much they can do. They cannot do all this. So the burden in an online class shifts to the individual child. He
Yes.
has to take the burden of learning. And to be honest to you, going forward, this is the way. I mean, you have to accept online classes, and there could be a mixture of online and live classes going forward the next 2 years, and again, I mean, further ahead. So they have to accept this, and they have to, there are so many sources, open sources. There are internet has knowledge sources. So you do your research, you learn, and you tell yourself that it is I who have to learn. You have to
Correct.
get curious, you have to understand, and if you don't, you have to reach out to parents or teachers and call them and make sure you understand and all this. And the COVID-19 menace has dramatically transformed our world now. Okay, and we have to actually thank that we have these technologies and online classes are there, and we are able to at least do this.
Right.
We are locked at home, but we are able to have our classes. In fact, I will say, don't limit yourself to online classes, school homeworks and projects, but go beyond. So what can you do? Why don't you, this is a beautiful time that why don't you think about your future?
Right.
What do you want to do in future? What do you want to do in future? So why don't you start thinking, what are your likes, your dislikes? What are your strengths, your weakness? So what are your, strengths, and what is it that you would like to do? Your talents. Discover your talents. This is actually time for self-discovery.
And they're
And I
not
would
going to
say
get
this is
this
a
free
exercise time again.
Yes.
In fact, it's a beautiful time to partner with parents and then research and find out, what is the career path you want to follow? Where do you want to go? What are its options? What will it be like? Do all this and, reflect on what kind of a person you are and what will suit you. Are you the numbers person? Are you the, creative person? What kind of a profession you want to take? Because if your passion becomes your profession, then it's life is a big success. And if you make a right plan now, it's a huge step forward. Parents and in this time of adversity, I would suggest that parents should take children into confidence, and they should speak. They should talk about this COVID crisis. They should say how the crisis has affected them as a family. Maybe it has impacted them financially. Maybe it has impacted the jobs. Maybe it has impacted business. You have to discuss with your children and say that we are facing this problem. And the problem on the face is that maid is not coming, and we have to cook and we have to do all the housework ourselves. You take them into confidence and share work, make them partners. They will appreciate it. They will sympathize. They will surprise you if you take them as partners and share, because they feel, you have treated them like adults and confided in them. So this is what they should do.
Like Ajay says that partner with parents is a great insight.
Very nice, very nice. You have to be partners
yeah.
now at this moment of difficulty or adversity. And lastly, I would say that, slowly our restrictions will be brought, this lockdown will be opened, but this is the time you have to be even more careful. I would like to caution the audience and everybody around that be very careful. The social distancing, putting on a mask and washing and having high levels of hygiene has to go on for almost 2 years till a vaccine is found. So stay home, stay safe, and lastly, we human beings are the fittest. We will survive this challenge and will come out stronger. So please cope with hope. And
Yes.
it is open for Q&A now.
Yes, Brinda, is there anybody who would like to ask any questions? We have, we can take we have 10 minutes to go, and
So, Ravi,
No, we have some more time.
yeah.
We have 20 minutes.
Raviteja has raised his hand. I'll allow him to talk. Yeah, please, Raviteja, you can ask your question.
Kindly unmute yourself. Okay, kindly unmute yourself, Ravi.
Ma'am, there is a problem in my headset. Can you just see my question?
No, we
in the
can
chat
hear
box?
you.
No, we
can hear you now. Please tell us. We can hear you.
Okay. So we are aware that most of the teenagers' emotions and the way they think are driven by hormones, and the family environment also impacts a lot on the behavior and personality. So on the psychological level, they undergo so many things. So considering these sensitive mindsets of the teenagers, what kind of practices are needed in the educational institutes to enhance the lives of the teenagers? I mean, apart from academics.
Yeah. Meena, shall I take the answer?
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Teja, I totally agree. And they are full of hormones, they are full of emotions, and they are bursting with energy. I fundamentally disagree that they should be put in a classroom the way it's going on now in schools. They are locked from morning 9 to 4. I'm totally against it. I don't know if my thoughts will reach the higher ups in Delhi and administration, but these people have to be totally free. Ravindra Tagore kind of a situation has to be there, and they have to be involved in a number of extracurricular activities for them to discover themselves. They should understand, they should be exposed to various things, various options. In fact, there are people who did swimming for the first time when they turned 30, and they said, I don't know who told me this, and they said, if I had known it earlier, I would have been swimming. I think Mala told me, one of my friends. So I'm just telling you that whatever you can expose children to, schools and parents should expose them, make it a very free kind of an environment, and they should be able to study in a flexible way. I hope these changes come into the education system.
Yes.
Does this answer you,
That's a
Teja?
hope.
Yeah. So Vandana raised her hand, so I'm allowing her to talk.
Yeah. Vandana, please go ahead.
Vandana, can you please unmute yourself?
Unmute yourself, Vandana.
Yes.
Vandana, are you having difficulty? Can you unmute yourself?
Maybe you can also type.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Lalita, there is a question someone is asking is how do we address fallouts over the exposure to news? So you have something to say about that?
True. See, we should actually educate our teens that they should not expose themselves to the bombardment of the media. You just see news also. There are 100 news channels with 100 news bombarding you, and Aaj Tak and all those, they frighten you actually.
Yes.
It's very negative.
And you are left confused.
And also the feeds they get on Instagram and other news channels, I know what they see. So many things is bombarding you. So you train them, sit with them and say, go to good platforms and say this is reputed. And if you want to see news feeds, see from here. If you want to see something else, go to these channels. In fact, I have some teens who are very fond of makeup. So they keep watching some YouTubes of, that's fine. You find out what they are interested in. Some people like sketching, some people like birds, so you fix up, you sit with them and put some channels, which you okay, and suggest to them that these are good. But you tell them that if they bombard themselves with this, they will get very distressed. Every day they'll be facing distress if they do this. And even we shouldn't ourselves, we should scan, we should do a market survey and see what all are there and what is appropriate, and then choose only that. So this goes on simultaneously. I mean, all the time, choosing the right thing and discarding, but protect yourself from getting bombarded with these news feeds.
Right. I have a very interesting question here. So thank you for the effort. Since we were not able to connect, unmute, and I don't know this technical problem, I guess. But Vandana is asking an interesting question. I think I'll take it up, Lalita. In fact, some kids, she says, in fact, some kids are very scared always to go out and psychologically feel the temperature has risen. How do we build confidence in them? This is really an interesting and a very important question, Vandana, you've asked, is what is happening just now, as Lalita was saying, that we are even as adults, we are always glued to the TV. We want to know something more about it, and we flip channels continuously, and every channel has something scary to tell us. And while we are watching, we forget that there are our children, our teenagers, or younger children who are also watching, and they listen to all these things, and psychologically it is possible that they start feeling that they are getting temperature. In fact, it can go to such an extent that some kids can get temperature also, because they continuously think that these are the symptoms, and what if I get. So one of the very important ways to handle this is, first and foremost, as a parent, you need to be very calm and confident. Even if there is some temperature, it could be because of some other flu or something. So don't panic. Don't get into a panic mode and say, oh my God, you got fever, now what do I do? So just handle it very gently, and probably you could just contact your physician, and don't give it so much of importance to this thing initially, because if you feel that it is just a psychological way of venting out, then you can just observe for some time before getting into a panic mode. And the best solution is just watch news probably once in the morning and once in the evening. Definitely not before sleeping.
No, once a day should do.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's an interesting question. There's an interesting question from Neil Mule, who says that in my friend circle, some of us have gotten into college and some of us haven't. How do we cope with this anxiety of not knowing which college we are going? So this is an important question I would like to address. There are so many children who were about to write some entrance exams, and there's no clue whether they will happen, when they will happen. So much of hard work and preparation is like there's a uncertainty. And then so many children wanted to go abroad to universities, not just in the country. And now the situation is absolutely chaotic. And my son also got admission into a college in Canada, and he's not able to go now, and we don't know what will happen. And some children didn't get admissions. To all of them, I would like to say that please understand that something very big is at play. Just your admission, your school, your education is put at pause. That is not the biggest issue now. And there will be uncertainty going forward also. It's okay even if there is 1 year at home. Be mentally ready for that, because countries will not accept you. And even colleges within the country, if you have to go outside your city, they will not accept you. If you're in the same city, colleges won't open for a year now. What will you do? So I want you to leave all your anxieties. In fact, just chill, just calm down. Nothing will happen if one academic year goes. Even if you are the topper, it doesn't matter. In fact, you keep yourself updated. You keep yourself on some online courses and equip yourself. Let your skills not rust. you know, just don't worry. You know, that is what I'd like to say.
Yeah. Adit raised.
Who's
Adit.
there is someone Adit, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, can you unmute him?
Yes. Adit, can you unmute?
You can ask him to talk.
Yes, ma'am.
Who is this Adit?
Okay. So meanwhile,
Kindly
yeah, we got another question from Aman. What would you advise someone who is not able to stick to planned schedules?
I think Lalita, you can take that.
I would say that don't stress yourself if you planned something and you couldn't do it today. It's not such a strict thing. You are for the first time trying to make a schedule for yourself and follow it. Even if you follow 3 out of 4 you have planned, it's fine. And today, if you couldn't follow anything, that is also fine. Let us hope that in a matter of 2-3 days or a week, you will be following your schedule and you'll feel on top of the world, Aman. I promise.
Yes. One more anonymous question, ma'am. Hi, I'm Sohini. I'm having a teenage daughter. She has suddenly lost all interest in everything, be it study, dance. She is a good dancer, has been dancing for last 10 years, any kind of activity. I tried speaking to her, but nothing is working. She's watching TV for hours and rest of the time in phone.
Yeah, so this...
I'll take this one.
Yeah, Meena. Yeah.
That is Sohini, is it?
Yes. No, ma'am. It's an anonymous question. Yeah, she
Anonymous.
mentioned her name. Yeah, Sohini.
Sohini. Yeah, Sohini, like I mentioned in the webinar, you need to not worry about anything right now, but to start talking. Open conversation is very, very important. What is her age, Brinda? What did she say is her age?
Her teenage daughter. Teenage daughter. She mentioned teenage daughter.
Okay, so that's the first step. I'll not advise you beyond that right now, but yes, you can first try to talk to her, and because you need to know what her fears are, you know, before you decide whether you should take her to a counselor or you know, consult someone. You have to know what are the things, what are the worries that are, you know, going on in her mind. And I'm not giving you a lengthy answer, but this is just the first step to resolve your query.
That's wonderful.
Lalita, you want to add something?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Narendra Kaul writes that presumption is we are ready to do things and are just waiting for advice. But major problem is insolence compounded. I think insolence compounded means that they are not ready to listen to us, these teenagers. They are, you know, insolent. It is nothing but tantrums and disagreeing with us. What do you do in this situation? Mr. Narendra Kaul, when we take them as partners and we open up and we treat them as, see, we have to start, as Meena has said, we have to start conversations with them. And in that conversation, we have to give them the status of being a partner. We treat them with respect and we say, you have to, you know, realize that this is the situation. And this is a problem of the whole generation, Mr. Narendra Kaul. What has happened is parents have been only providing. They feel that it is our responsibility to provide. They have become a giver, but they have forgotten that they actually have to, you know, build lives. They have to, in 20 years, they have to ensure that this child is able to live independently and then fly off. Look at the birds, you know, from the nest. The mother is, with its beak, it is, you know, pricking the child and pushing it to fly into the world. That part we have forgotten in our daily lives, in parenting. I have seen that. So now we are scared of children. They are having tantrums. They are shouting at us. They are being rude to us. This situation has to be overturned because you pay the bills, because money speaks. So you are providing and you will say that I pay for your school, I pay for your things. And I mean, not in such a harsh way, but you have to say that now we are facing a problem as a family. I mean, it is ingenious. I mean, it's a challenge, but you have to somehow get them around and understand. They cannot be ungrateful to you. I mean, what about values? That is why I say that human values, value system and life skills are more important than degrees. Why are we only thinking that if we put them to school, our responsibility is over? It is not. It is good. They get educated. They get to build a career, but they become ungrateful and leave. Is it a fulfilling life for us? We parents have to, imbibe gratitude in them. That is why you make them do some service, give them something and say, why don't you give it to our maids' children? Why don't you give it to migrant laborers? Through their hands, why don't you put them in voluntary service?
Right.
In Teenage Foundation, we have teens coming and doing voluntary service. So
that's what I meant, Lalita, when I said that this is a new challenge for the parents. We have to find out some creative solutions, and we have to only try. I can say we can only start trying, because no one has faced this earlier, and we could try a lot of new solutions and try new methods with our kids, how to make them talk to you, so set their boundaries, and then converse. That's all I would say.
Yeah. So there is another question by Purohit Lodha. I'll read the question. Meena, you can answer this.
Sure.
My 14-year-old is very inconsistent. How to develop it? She plans, she executes, and then she gets deviated in between.
Yes. This is also a very good question, Mr. Lodha. What you can do is, first and foremost, don't be in hurry to it's not like you are going to print out a timetable and she's going to follow. What you need to do is, out of 5 things, even if she's able to do one thing successfully, one task successfully, you need to reward. And reward is not necessarily some gift. Reward could be just playing a Ludo game with her. So you need to show them that if they are able to follow tasks, they are appreciated and they're rewarded, so very important. And then slowly she will get to realize that, okay, now following my task is very important, because it's a very happy thing. They're going to get rewards, and like I said, not necessarily some huge rewards. It could be very, very small things. I hope that and so the deviations will keep happening. Don't give up. Parents tend to give up. I give you a timetable, you didn't follow, so forget it. It's not like that. We need to say, okay, you did 1, so that's great. Let's try for 2. By next week we'll try to do 2. Don't give up on them very easily. Our patience level has to improve. I hope that's I've answered your question.
So there's another question, anonymous, but hello, it says, hello, this is Adit. I have a question. How not to be lazy when asked to do work? Yeah.
So Lalita, I think you can take that as
I'll take that.
Adit, teenagers.
Yeah, Adit, I will say that lethargy.
I'm sure that's a teenager.
So Adit, lethargy is something we always fight, all of us, but maybe we are adults and we know we have to do it, so we overcome it. But again, I get back to what points I said. If you exercise daily, your metabolism will be perfect. If you take care of your nutrition, hydration, exercise, and your sleep, if your cycle of metabolism and body is fine, you'll be very alert and you'll be like eager to do whatever you want to do. You'll never feel lazy. And also, if it's a job that interests you, all the more you will be excited about it. So probably you're feeling lazy about some things which doesn't interest you. You need to look into that. I hope this answer, has answered your, query. There are some more questions.
So a question from Nikhil. How do students who applied for further studies in foreign countries be satisfied with online classes?
Yes, this is a question which is actually, there are a lot of students which are going through this phase where they are at a stage where they either lose 1 year. They have to take a decision on this, that they either lose 1 year or do it online, the classes. So this is a very tough decision. Yes, definitely doing these online classes, going to the university is much better and a bigger thing to do. But looking at the current situation, what I suggest is, if you are able to take a sabbatical, and then start next year. If that is possible, it's good. But if some people are pressed for time, they're already probably lost some time, so they don't want to waste another year. For such, I advise that you do it online. But if you have the luxury of a year on your side, then definitely I would suggest you start the academics in the next year.
A sabbatical will do wonders, Meena. Lot of
Yes.
parents and children are scared of a sabbatical, but I'm telling you, it's a spiritual year. You will
Yes.
discover what you want to do. I totally recommend for everybody in their life, take 1 year sabbatical.
Yes,
Absolutely.
there's nothing to fear, and there's nothing to worry that
Nothing to fear. Yeah.
We have
Leena
any
Mulai,
other question?
yes, Leena Mulai is asking, like, how do you make teenagers add exercise in their routine?
Yeah. Meena.
You've taken that already, Lalita, so I think best is you can answer about exercise.
Yeah. So, Leena, in today's day and world, health is the most important thing. Mortality rate has gone up to 88, and world average is more than 80. So, if we have to live for an 80 years, if we are not healthy, it is not worth it. So, I feel that exercising should be taught in school. Schools are what have to teach exercising to children and make it a habit. Yoga, exercise, that I totally leave it to children, but if you have to talk to a teenager and tell them that you have to exercise, then you should you should find out what interests her or him. You can say and introduce him to one or two things. But I think the best thing is yoga. If they are not exposed to exercising, then get a yoga teacher. And if you now in today's day, it is just about a YouTube which introduces you to Surya Namaskara or some basic yoga for beginners. Please sit along with your teenager and you do it yourself. So, but there is no
she
go.
She says my son doesn't understand the importance of outdoor.
Yeah, he doesn't understand, but you have to talk to him about it, because when you exercise and the blood goes up and down, and my son is he's a cricketer, he's a fast bowler, and he does it 3 to 4 to 5 hours per day. And the younger one is also very athletic. I come from a family where everybody is exercising madly all day. My husband, me, all of us. So I am also into it. But I would suggest that you can't escape. Whatever it is, you can't escape. And I'm not saying 1 hour. I'm saying 2 hours every day. Everybody has to exercise. And you can be old people, you can be young people, you can be teenagers, you can be parents, anybody. Please take out time. And if you do exercise, it is for yourself. That is what you're nurturing yourself. Do it. I mean, talk to him about it somehow.
Okay, so we had a good Q&A session, and it was really wonderful to have such an overwhelming response with so many people asking us questions. I think I'm really thankful to all the attendees who have made the effort of joining us today. Lalita, you have to say something about it.
Yeah, absolutely. My sincere thanks to all those who have attended, and you have valued us, and you're here. And the issue we discussed was of importance for everybody. And thank you so much. And your questions and some of your observations were very insightful, and they made this whole discussion richer, So thank you. Good luck. And please stay home, stay safe. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Thank you, Brinda, for handling this entire, for hosting it so well. Thank you, Meena, for coming once again.
I think Brinda has a thank you note too. Brinda?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
can you just
thank you, Lalita, Dr. Lalita and Meena, for your valuable and insightful input. And thank you, attendees. We appreciate you being here. Thanks again for joining us today, and we'll meet you soon with another session. Have a great evening. Take care and bye.
Thank you,
Brinda.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Bye.